The hidden paradise calls from beyond the hills. Hills laden with thick rainforests stretching from the foothills of the Himalayas to the tip of the Malaysian peninsula. The mighty Brahmaputra dares us to cross it. The huge paddy fields the Brahmaputra nurtures beckon us as they had beckoned many before us in the years past. Roads crisscrossing the lush green tea gardens invite us to an unknown journey. But at every bend, the roadsides hold us back for a view that is arresting and captivating, for something that is a work of God or a work of man. The famous age-old temple of goddess Kamakhya calls us, as it has called millions year after year. This is Assam, a land that nature and history have woven as intricate and beautiful as the colorful dress that every lady here weaves on her footloom. A land that was part of what was called Pragjyotishpura, the city of Eastern astrology. Interestingly, to the east of Guwahati, there still stands a hill known as Chitrachal, where Brahma, the creator himself, is said to have calculated the stars. Built atop this hill is the Pragjyotish temple, dedicated to the 9 planets. This is the temple that Brahma is believed to have himself dreamt of. Finding the temple in a dilapidated condition, the great Ahom king Rajeshwar Singh restored it to its glory and had it rebuilt in 1674. The name Pragjyotishpura goes back a long time. It finds a mention in texts as ancient as the Mahabharata. For ages, its mystic call has attracted many. One such was Emperor Neeladhwaja, who came all the way from South India and attained the truth under this banyan tree, a spot called Siddhashram. Pragjyotishpura has been a regular port of call for all those who were searching a paradise on earth or simply searching their souls. Not far from where the Brahmaputra flows is another place that attracted people. The temple of Kamakhya. Just 2 miles from Pragjyotishpura, or the present-day Guwahati, it became very famous as an important center of Hindu pilgrimage. The temple is recognized by the devotees as the most holy of the 52 Pithas. The temple is a very beautiful specimen of medieval Hindu temple architecture in Assam. Religious texts as far back as the 8th century AD mention Kamakhya shrine of Kamarup as an important center of tantric worship. Worship that was mystical and for some mysterious. Lack of speedy means of communication was never a deterrent. Those who wanted could always find a way to the Kamakhya shrine of Kamarup. And in doing so, they discovered newer and better ways of reaching here, making it easy for those that came after them. This movement of pilgrims helped in discovering new trade routes to Kamarup from other parts of the country. Traders went hand in hand with pilgrims and made Guwahati a happening place. Till this day, this temple draws thousands of devotees from all over the country, making Guwahati an important spot in the spiritual and tourist map of India. Getting very well connected to the rest of India, it continues to be a gateway to the whole of Northeast. That explains why the journey for the hidden paradise must begin here. A journey that brought travelers from faraway lands, travelers who speak of a glorious and prosperous past. Material evidence tells the same tale. This famous Nidanpur copper plate land deed in Guwahati Museum is a proof of high degree of metalwork achieved during the reign of the great king Bhaskar Burman. The coins in this museum, introduced in Bhaskar Burman's reign, speak of an organized system of government. The Buddha of medieval period, discovered in Arunachal Pradesh, shows the high level of artistry that was found in copper works. The bell metal cannon that was used by King Sri Gadadhar Singh in 1604 to defeat the Mughals stands testimony to the sturdy war machinery of the Ahoms. The Ahoms, who ruled over Kamrup for good 6 centuries until the British took over, had come from Myanmar. They made this their home, adopting local culture and lending their own culture to Kamrup. The Eta fort bears testimony to their fighting spirit, a spirit which gave them victory over Kamrup and gave Kamrup 6 centuries of prosperity and firm leadership. The fort had 3 gates, eastern, western and southern, of which only the southern gate can now be seen. It is estimated that more than 80 lakhs of bricks, 45,000 cubic meters of stone and 46,300 man-days were required to build the fort. The lonely ruins is all that remains of what must have been a majestic fort once. Its decay and neglect yet another reminder that forgetting the past is forgetting our future, because, as they say, past makes us what we are and would be. Mighty kings have been overthrown by mightier ones, and they by those who are mightier still. But in this land, none is as mighty as the Brahmaputra, which rules this part of the country unchallenged, providing sustenance and sorrow to people. Gentle and all-forgiving most of the year, but cruel and unforgiving when in spate. Truly called the river that gives life and takes life. The Ahoms call it Nam Dao Phi, or River of the Star God. As the sun sets over Brahmaputra, as it had set over many empires that ruled here, one thinks of the bounties its fertile valley gave so that civilization could flourish along its banks. Till this day, it gives sustenance to those who come to it. One can always count upon the Brahmaputra for a good catch of fish or a good crop after the water recedes in winters, leaving a fertile soil. Kamrup repelled all of the 17 military expeditions that the Mughals sent, the last seeing the decisive defeat of the Mughals at the hands of the legendary Ahom general Lachat Barphukan. At the site of this Ahom victory stands the first bridge built over Brahmaputra, the Sarai Ghat Bridge. Invasions were repelled, but ideas were always welcome. Assam became a melting pot of all faiths. Along with the Shakta Kamakya Peeth could exist Vaishnavite Namghar, places for congregational worship that exist in almost every village till this day. Apart from being used for Vaishnavite chants and ceremonies, it also doubles up as a village meeting place. As the entire village gathers here, the Namghar links man to God and man to man. The 600 years old Sufi Dargah, Pua Makkah, does the same. Drawing people from all over the land and from all the faiths, it promises a quarter share of blessings one could get at the holy city of Makkah, hence the name Pua Makkah. If Kamaroop had an open-door policy for ideas and ideologies, entrepreneurs and businessmen were never far behind. One of the most important trade routes to Southeast Asia, mentioned as far back as 800 AD, still exists. Now called Stilwell Road after the brave Allied General Stilwell, who metalled it during the Second World War. Beginning here, the Stilwell Road goes places. Passing through Myanmar, it reaches right up to Kunming, the capital of Yunnan province of China. This 1736-kilometer road cuts across difficult mountain terrain and turbulent rivers. If it cuts across geography, it also cuts across history. Means of communication have changed, but the age-old quest is the same. The quest to open up for more exchange of goods and ideas. The Tamu-Kalewa-Kalemu route, linking Indo-Myanmar border to the western bank of Chindwin River, is a 165-kilometer stretch built by India's Border Roads Organization. Once the Myanmar side of the stretch is ready, a bridge is built over the river Chindwin. Mandalay in Myanmar would be just a day's journey from the border, a furtherance of the same old desire of finding newer and better routes.
As you know, there already we have, and this government had encouraged, and now there exists almost all along the border, wherever it is inhabited, a system of trade directly at the border, which includes barter as also in either Indian currency or Myanmar currency. There would be economic and under economic infrastructural ways of extending further road connections. There's also the Kaladhan, Akya port, other ports, cultural exchanges, cooperation in combating cross-border terrorism and insurgency.
The same spirit of continuing and promoting contact guides the Ganga-Mekong Swarnabhumi Cooperation Program.
I personally, on behalf of my delegation, wish to express my gratitude for the warm hospitality and generosity that I and my delegation have received in connection with this program. Today in our countries, as we notice a great entrepreneurial dynamism among our people and a desire for a defining place in the new global economy, we in the government of India and in other governments have to tap this energy in the implementation of the Mekong Ganga programs that we shall adopt. Our cooperation in tourism, education, culture and communication, And if this corporation is people-oriented and people-driven, then it can channelize the dynamism for tangible economic and social gains motivated by profits, by benefits, and with the intention of goodwill to all and goodwill and well-being of all the peoples of all the 6 countries.
The delightful views of Kamrup show that its geography is drawn by its rivers. The Brahmaputra created a valley that sits over most of Assam. No traveler in these parts can miss it. Certainly not if you are seeking paradise. Brahmaputra by itself may not be paradise, but it does sustain a paradise. Now, as for ages, its alluvial deposits have created wealth that made it worthwhile for traders and invaders to come here from far-off places. In the south, the Barak River shaped the lives of the people in a similar manner, though at a smaller scale. Not as ferocious as the Brahmaputra, the Barak did have a wide reach. Apart from Assam, it flows through Manipur, Mizoram, and in lower reaches to neighboring Bangladesh, carrying along with its water goods and people. The hilly region that separates Brahmaputra Valley in the north and Barak Valley in the south is as tough but as beautiful as the people of this land. If nature creates people who are beautiful, what people create is beautiful still, a work of art that is woven and created in almost every home. Assam alone boasts of 700,000 looms, most of them running on manpower, in fact, women power to be precise. Only some, like this one at Sualkuchi, 25 kilometers from Guwahati, run on power. In most of the places, it is just these hands and feet that weave fairy tales on a piece of cloth, the way they have woven for centuries. This art goes back a long time in history and runs deep in society. Religion or caste do not make a difference. Every Assamese woman weaves, and the garment she weaves could do the most sophisticated of weaving mills proud. Mekhlas, chadars, rihas, gamchas, garments woven from humble homes by bare hands and feet, take their place of pride in national and international markets. It is not just the Assamese garments that are sought after. The Manipuri silk sari is a prized possession of any Indian lady and is bought faster than it is made. Weaving in Manipur might look like business, but for most, it is labor of love, something they have learned from their mothers and would teach to their daughters. A skill that links them to countless generations before them, those that invented, adopted and innovated and raised this daily activity to the level of perfection. In Arunachal Pradesh, the weaving patterns assume a dreamlike beauty. The loom becomes to them what a brush is to an artist. Each mood of theirs finds expression in the color they give to the clothes. The dazzle of color that finally emerges is reflective of their state of mind. Be the clothes that are meant for daily use or clothes that are for once-in-a-lifetime occasion, each garment stands unique as a work of art. The joy and delight they feel in producing these garments is infectious and is passed on to those who wear it, like this Apatani lady who cannot take her eyes off the mirror. The uniqueness of this land lies in the fact that the source of subsistence also becomes the source of creative satisfaction. And this brings us to the metal making skills. We had seen them before in the museum, but it does not mean they are not found in homes anymore. The fire that burnt ages ago in the reign of Bhaskar Burman continues to burn in homes. If weaving is passed on from mother to daughter, this skill goes from father to son, and that is how they traveled ages and continue to travel places. What they make is for their own use at home, for the neighborhood bazaars, as also the national and international bazaars. The skills that made possible the metal land beads are used to make domestic pots and pans. But that does not mean that the divine is forgotten. As with everything in this land, the mundane gets intertwined with the divine. If you feel like a cup of tea now, why not? After all, every sixth tea drinker of the world prefers Assam tea. It is believed that Robert Bruce, a British official, discovered tea in Assam in 1823. But of course, he discovered it for the outside world, because those who lived here always knew of the leaves that make a refreshing drink. Of all the states in India, Assam produces most of the tea. Grown both in the fertile Brahmaputra valley in the upper districts and the Barak valley, Assam has the largest area under this crop. With 23,000 hectares under tea, it gives employment to about 1.5 lakh. Tea has come a long way since the days of Robert Bruce. It does not grow in wild anymore. It is carefully grown, tended, processed and sent round the globe to cheer the spirits of all who have fallen for Assam tea. Tea gardens have been romanticized in numerous landscapes, novels and cinema. But few know that most of those working and staying in these plantations are the descendants of those who were forcibly brought here in the 19th century, mostly from the Chota Nagpur region of what is now Jharkhand. Right from British times, tea gardens have been big business. Owned by industrial giants, most of them are highly mechanized. This one at Kanubari is an exception, owned by a son of the soil, a Vanchu tribal. It still relies largely on manpower for processing tea. There certainly is a lot of toil for a cup that cheers people all over the globe. As we hit the road again, we discover sustainable ways in which man is exploiting nature, ways that have continued for ages. Tall and sturdy bamboo forests can fulfill almost every need. Along with bamboo are grown the pine trees, which help preserve the ozone layer, a fact scientifically proved. No wonder in some places pine is worshipped and cutting it down is forbidden. With Manipur and Mizoram on our right side, we stand on the banks of the Barak River in Assam. And to our left is Bangladesh. We see bamboo drawn from the woods come floating down on bamboo raft. People live in bamboo huts. They make bamboo mats and baskets for a living. They eat bamboo shoots and even bamboo pickles. Stranded here, one could eternally live on bamboo. Just in case you find bamboo monotonous, try the cane for its comfortable furniture. Millions of weary souls all over the country and even abroad find rest against this cane, which lends itself to a vast variety of furniture. Deft artistic fingers give it a shape that allows its entry into the most plush drawing rooms, places these cane workers themselves would never enter. We also need rest, but we have a date with Umiam Lake, which takes our breath away with its beauty. Just 16 kilometers from Shillong, on the Guwahati-Shillong road, Umiam Lake, or Bada Pani as it is popularly known, is the biggest artificial lake in Meghalaya. Nature's beauty in these parts is matched by its bounty, so much so that at this place in Upper Assam, you just need to scratch the surface to get coal. A place aptly called Lido, meaning a place where you can find coal just by removing the soil. We find this wealth in Meghalaya's Jovai district also, and again right at the surface. Wapung on the Shillong-Silchar road is the center of coal production and coal trade. This trade has become quite brisk over the past decade, so much so that most of the local economy has come to revolve around it. Coal mining, coal picking, coal loading and coal transportation, each activity generates employment for the people here. Trucks loaded to the brim head to far-off places, some even beyond the Indian borders to neighboring Bangladesh. For entering Bangladesh, they go through the Dauki post. Facilitating interaction and trade, this post is the busiest one on the Indo-Bangladesh border. The faces themselves tell the story of age-old cultural and racial exchange. Sharing a boundary of more than 4,000 kilometers, India and Bangladesh are increasing infrastructure links so that goods and people can go smoothly over road and rail. Bangladesh is now India's sixth major export partner, with India sending goods worth rupees 1,080 crores and getting from Bangladesh goods worth 62.26 crore rupees. As India progressively reduces tariff on Bangladeshi items, this trade is in for major expansion. People, ideas and goods have always been actively exchanged over a border that was as ill-defined once as the waters of the Dauki River. Nature's bounty has come from the most unexpected sources in Assam. Over a century ago, it was the rail track that placed Digboi on the oil map of the world. Oil was struck quite accidentally when tracks were being laid here. The discovery well number 1 is still preserved as a museum piece. The drilling equipment used then is a memento that the oilmen cherish. So is the steam engine that was brought from Kolkata to drill the well. This, however, does not mean that Digboi is now just a part of history. It is still a town with picture postcard beauty. Rated as one of the best hill stations, it has excellent amenities for residents. Their need for water is even now fulfilled by a tanker built by the British. For long, Digboi's products have been sought after by the industry. The new refinery coming up along with the old one will expand the refining capacity of Digboi. Once completed, the new refinery will make Digboi all the more relevant to the oil industry and equip it to face the ever-increasing demands of an industrial economy. The naphtha it makes is in high demand in the industry. Its bitumen is the stuff on which the nation moves. A valuable byproduct drawn from Digboi's crude oil is its coke, which is a vital ingredient for carbon steel. Digboi's paraffin wax reaches closer to a lady than any soul would. Thanks to those who use it to make cosmetics. Touching people's lives in various ways, giving energy and lending grace, Digboi itself has the charm of an ageless beauty. As an oil field, it may be older than most. Its production may be on the decline, but it is certainly one of the oldest oil fields that still live. And along with this ageless charm is the refinement that the new refinery would bring, something that will match the best of the best in the oil industry. Our next destination is Banpera in Arunachal Pradesh. On way, we need to halt at the Kanubari checkpost that lies on Assam-Arunachal border. Roads take us deep in forests and deeper into history. places, one cannot tell the century people are living in. In Banpera in Arunachal Pradesh, we see the best of tribal hospitality of Vanchus. We get a gun salute. The muzzle is self-made, and so is the gunpowder. For all its easy availability, it is used largely on ceremonial occasions or for animal hunting. Since the bison heads are guarding the place from evil spirits, we enter the deputy chief's house without fear. It is a self-contained house offering the best in local hospitality. And very transparent, as any guest can see what delicacies are in store. In this tribal house, there is nothing like daily grind. One finds rhyme and rhythm in most routine of activities. Being woodcarvers, they celebrate the source of their livelihood with a bamboo dance. Even this remote village has been open to exchange of goods. Nimble fingers put together the colorful beads brought from Myanmar and weave them into delightful designs. Time stands still here. People have leisure, but they are not idle. If they make mats to sit on them, they also make them to earn a living. As most other crafts of the Northeast, this craft is first learnt sitting on the lap of one's elders. These mats go all over Assam, far beyond the places these villagers are even likely to venture. For most of the needs, the village does not need to look far. One could build a house of products drawn from the neighboring forest. Weave a basket from the forest products. Even weave a headgear drawn from the same source. For a mat below oneself or a roof above one's head, one just needs to look at the friendly forest. Among the Vanchus, we find a novel way of exchanging information. A native hotmail. This one is sending a message somewhere far away that we are here. Message sent. We set out to our next destination. The rainforest of Jaipur in Assam. With an area of 800 kilometers, they are the biggest in the northeast. Once under threat from paddy fields and tea gardens, they are now under government protection. "60% of the hills are now under the Forestry Action Plan of the government. Helping preserve precious forest wealth, it ensures that the only way the forest is trapped is the sustainable way." If there are sustainable ways of tapping the forest, we discovered sustainable ways of fishing on the Tirap River. Here and there one comes across a site that can give away the age one is in, though one could still be wrong by an odd century. The homes of the Nokte tribe of Arunachal Pradesh look unique in that they seem to have a basement for drive-in parking. The real reason we discovered is more simple and basic. It is meant for scavenging pigs to get in and clear the human waste. And this is how it is all over Arunachal Pradesh. History, or even prehistory, is written all over, but it does not mean the Noktes do not live in the present. The photo opportunity we get turns out to be a collage of ages. Different persons live in different ages, and in many cases, the same person bears the stamps of various ages. Bare feet vie with modern shoes, modern dresses with traditional ones, because this is Arunachal Pradesh, showing shades of ages past and also the future. Geographically and historically, we have come a long way since we began. The call of the hidden paradise brings us to the height of 6,475 feet at zero in Arunachal Pradesh. Once described as the hidden land, over the ages, Arunachal has built bridges with the outside world, but at its own terms. We stand at the Apatani Plateau, home to the Apatanis, one of the most advanced tribes of Northeast. In these parts, the Apatanis are one of the few that believe in settled agriculture, making Arunachal Pradesh self-sufficient in food grains. We are in a village which is the second largest in Asia. The impact of settled agriculture is there for all to see. A settled life, luxury of modern education, and traces of affluence. The Apatanis are sometimes called the Sardarjis of Northeast. They are called Sardarjis because they have a quality extremely uncommon among the tribals: commercial enterprise. As elsewhere, modern influence plays hide and seek with traditional ways of life on the Apatani plateau. Each house would have what is called miyoko, indicating the number of sons the family has. Obviously, a reminder of violent times when sons were counted and were needed more than daughters. Times are of course changing. Modern education is open to girls as to boys. Young girls refuse to disfigure their faces, a practice again reminiscent of turbulent times when beautiful women faced threats greater than today. The young ones would not dance to old tunes, and the valley might ring with many different tunes in future. Those like us who heed to the call of paradise again might see more changes and a paradise far less hidden than now.